Hello and welcome to the Developer Show. I'm your host, Timothy Jordan. Let's start with a quick review of what happened recently with the Google Developer Platform, also known as the TLDR. Perform complex backend logic on data stored in real time with automatic synchronization across devices. Android plus Firebase plus Google App Engine makes it happen. David East is here today to explain it all a bit further.
That's me.
Logs just got a lot better with metrics, advanced filters, and charts. Brought to you by Google Cloud Logging and Google Cloud Monitoring, available today in beta. Improved navigation, search, customization, and visibility are available today in a beta new design of the Cloud Console. Try it today and let us know what you think. Universal App Campaigns and User Acquisition Performance Reporting is now available in Google Play Developer Console to make ads and user growth as simple as writing an async task. A recent Google Shopper survey revealed that over 40% of people are likely to use their phones to pay digitally for products this holiday season. Google's head of commerce, Sridhar Ramaswamy, recently sat down with Fortune to discuss this and more commerce trends to come. Joanna Smith is on the show today to discuss what this means for us developers.
Money!
As the crow flies is not the best measure of proximity. But thanks to the Distance Matrix service as part of the Google Maps API, you can calculate what point of interest is actually the closest to travel for your users. Get a Project Tango developer kit for 50% off with a special limited time offer on the Google Store available soon. And keep an eye out on the Google Plus community for an update on the sale, and in the meantime, check out the recent app contest winners for some inspiration. Links in the description below with all the other links. Record your gameplay and share it on YouTube from your phone with an update to Google Play Games. It includes support for your front-facing camera and mic, so we know how you really feel about that hidden bomb. Also, we're working on an SDK for this so you can build it right into your own app or game. VR is cool. Seriously, it's cool. And Google Cardboard now makes it possible around the world in 39 languages and in more than 100 countries on both Android and iOS. Oh, and the SDK got updated too. Fred Sauer is also cool and on the show today to tell us a little more about Cardboard.
I'm super excited to be here today.
Turkish mobile games developer Peak Games has a growing user base in the US with their game Spades Plus. The game generates over 70% of its mobile revenue from Android. We recently had a chat with them about how they improved user engagement, increased installs with Google Play Store listing experiments and app promotion, as well as other Android and Google Play features that help them be successful. Here's a quick clip from the video, a peek, if you will, at Peak Games.
Peak Games was founded in 2010. Our aim is to create global technology products and reach millions of users. We take the classic game experience and migrate it to mobile. Additional to that, we also build casual games. Android is our priority mobile platform. Currently, we have 65K of installs every day. Most of our games are dependent on scale, and getting more users in Android is a lot easier than any other mobile platform. Android has been super helpful in growing in international markets, and that's where we believe our future is lying.
You can find a link to the full video below in the show notes. Below, they're awesome. Click on things. Fred, Cardboard. You have Cardboard. Tell us about Cardboard, the new release and all that stuff.
Okay, so Cardboard, obviously awesome.
Yes.
But as a developer, you want to build great apps. So now we have a new SDK that has some performance improvements and gives you better image quality.
Excellent.
Yeah.
And it has something to do with like the distortion in the lenses, right?
Yeah, so the distortion that we have to put in the image to compensate for the lenses in there is done more efficiently. So we can give you more pixels, higher quality images.
And it's just a recompile.
Yes.
That's awesome. I love Cardboard. Did I ever tell you why I love Cardboard?
Why?
I'm sure I have, because I'm a huge VR geek, which you know. Don't pretend like
tell
you
me
don't.
you're a Cardboard
They
star.
might not know. I'm a huge VR geek. But the thing is that when I was first getting into VR, it was so expensive. I just couldn't do it. It was prohibitive for like somebody who's just
$10,000 for head-mounted display.
And that doesn't even include the computer and all this software and whatever. But now
it's not $10,000.
That's not $10,000.
It's the phone I already have,
Uh-huh.
plus Cardboard and 2 lenses.
That's awesome.
And rubber band, hold the phone in place.
That's important.
What do you think is next for developers with Cardboard? Like where's this
Really
going?
understanding VR, I think, is important.
Yeah.
It's a different experience. So we have an app in the App Store called the Cardboard Design Lab. If you're doing anything with Cardboard, you got to check it out.
Okay.
It's best practices, and it shows you what to do and what not to do, like what makes people sick, and what doesn't.
That's like a whole new design skill set.
Yeah, because this is so
kind of
immersive. So you know that sensation if you're sitting in a train and then the train next to you pulls away,
Yeah.
and just for a moment you think you're moving? That can happen here too, and that can make you sick.
Okay.
But if you do it right, you have great experience.
All right. So really learning what makes a great VR
Yeah.
app.
And
From
try
simple
things
stuff
out.
like not making people sick too, I imagine.
And you have to
Other best
try
practices.
it with Cardboard. It's not the same as doing it on your development machine. You have to compile it, run it, check it out.
Cool, thank you. Appreciate those tips. Let's jump over to Firebase and Google App Engine. So developers have been working with Firebase with their Android apps and their iOS apps and so forth, but this adds a new layer. This is like backend intelligence to real-time data.
Yeah, like it's funny talking about Firebase on the back end of things because most people are used to using it on the front side. But what's cool about that is not everything you can do from the phone because it's not always on. So you can't always be routinely sending emails, or you can't send a push notification from the phone. So those type of things you can use Firebase for because it can you spin it up in the server, and it's not really like a server, it's more of a client. So like I build a ton of apps, and this is something that I do quite frequently. And when you spin up this like smart client that you can trust, so you can put all of your keys on there or your certificates, and then that way it can send out push notifications in response to something that happened in Firebase. So now you have this client that's sitting on a server, and you have your phone, and they're totally away from each other, but yet at the same time they're in total harmony, synchronizing the same data.
So you have a robot client in the cloud.
Like a trusted
robot.
Yeah.
A butler.
Your most trusted robot, Jeeves.
Robot-butler as a service.
Robot-butler as a service, very good. So, and that robot can also do like cron jobs, right? It's not just responding to changes.
Yeah, cron jobs is one of the really cool use cases because you can essentially set up a cron job that sends out like your newsletter email, like so every whatever days or every day you can send out the daily push to all of your users. And that's just a simple cron job, queries the database, grabs the data, and sends it out.
That's awesome.
So it's a motivated, trusted robot.
Yes.
I want a robot butler.
Okay, Joanna, let's talk about money
Well,
and commerce.
specifically, let's talk about shopping and how we
Okay.
can spend the money like on our robot butlers, right?
I would buy one right now.
Right. Well, that's why we make money, right? To like spend it on things.
And robot butlers.
Okay, so
Yeah.
specifically, I think that Android Pay is going to be exciting for our holiday season. We can all kind of agree that that's going to change a lot of like in-store experiences.
It's making things a lot easier.
So much easier. But the thing is, developers aren't really looking at that because it doesn't really affect them, and I think that's kind of a mistake. That article was so great, and Sridhar said something that really resonated with me, which is that shopping moments are replacing shopping marathons. Right?
Okay, what does that mean exactly?
So if you think about it, like you don't spend all day on Saturday running all of your errands, going to each store that you need something from. In fact, you probably don't buy 3 things in one day anymore. You realize that you're out of toothpaste, you order more toothpaste online, right? Or you're browsing like some interesting clothes online, you impulse buy whichever looks most interesting.
I think I agree. We used to do those marathons, like weekend was shopping, or
Right.
I'm from Holland. My town was Thursday evenings with shopping.
Everybody would go, right?
And that's
the thing.
The whole
we buy it
town
like
would go.
as we need now. We don't save it up in a list anymore. And I think that if developers aren't building that into their app, if they're not creating shopping moments, they're really missing out on a golden opportunity to monetize.
Facilitating shopping
Right.
moments. Like I think one of the things that I do is I don't keep a list of books that I'm going to read anymore. I just buy them digitally right away. Right, and then I have a stack of virtual books.
Whenever
Like if
you're
I know
ready.
I'm going to read the book, I might as well get it now, and then it's waiting for me when I have the time.
Exactly.
So if I recommend a Robot Butler book to you, you buy it right now.
We're always with the robot butler. Yes.
I
Do you
I will read
have
the
a
book,
robot
and you can
butler?
have one.
I've said I want one.
We're working on it, all right?
Okay, let's go to our last clip of the show, and that's all about patent trolls. They're lurking out there, just waiting to tear down your business, and our senior policy correspondent, Derek Slater, wants to make sure you know how to protect yourself from these strange beasts. But first, we asked some of Google's student ambassadors to give their best guess at what patent trolls are. Have a look.
I think a patent troll is probably someone who just comes up with just random things and just patents them.
So basically, they're using that patent to try and litigate, extract some fees, settle out of court, and I think they impede progress a lot.
It prevents you from doing it better because of that little nasty patent they have.
That was really good. That
was pretty good.
But I know you can tie it together for us. Put a bow on this.
Yeah.
What is a patent troll?
Yeah, so they were pretty close. Patents are supposed to encourage innovation. What patent trolls do is they don't invent anything. They come up with some broad idea that they get a patent for, and then they go around threatening to sue people. Let me tell you a little story to make that clearer. Okay. This guy, David Bloom, was working at a Fortune 500 company, leaves to become an app developer to start a company called Order X, where restaurants can share their menus, make it easy to be ordered from any app. Raises millions of dollars in VC funding, has 20 employees, is going along great. And then this patent troll comes along who says, I am the inventor. I own a patent on sharing menus. And he sues David Bloom. David Bloom tries to fight it, but he loses clients who get scared off, he loses investors who get scared off, and earlier this year had to go out of business. That's the story, unfortunately, of too many app developers and small businesses. It can cost like $1 million at least to defend yourself. And it's happened to people who create podcasts like Mark Maron and Adam Carolla. It's happened to people who do online test software. It's happened to people just running Wi-Fi routers. Last year, there were nearly 3,000 patent troll lawsuits. That's up 500% over the last decade. This is a growing problem. There are more people like David Bloom every year.
And this is crazy. They're able to get away with this time and time again. Obviously, there's a growing industry of patent trolls.
Yeah.
Like, what can we do to fix this?
So we need a better system in place for having quality patents to be issued. Then there needs to be deterrence built into the system so that there's some penalty if you go and file one of these frivolous lawsuits using one of these bad patents.
Okay, what else?
The main thing that people can do is they can go and tell Congress to fix it. That's really where the fix needs to happen. Fortunately, in the House and the Senate, there are two bills right now: the Innovation Act and the Patent Act. If you go to fixpatents.org, you can go and tell your congressperson, your senator, to go and pass those, and hopefully that will happen soon. Those bills, among other things, would make it so that if a patent troll files a lawsuit and they lose, they have to pay the other side's attorney's fees. That would be a good amount of deterrence from just going after and threatening random people.
All right, 500%.
5%, and over the last 20 years, that's about $500 billion of damage to the U.S. economy. Last 5 years, about $8 billion in lost VC funding due to patent trolls.
All right, so go to this website.
Fixpatents.org.
Thanks for coming on the show, Derek.
Pleasure.
And that's been our show. To say goodbye to the panel, I'd like to ask them a question. What absurd patent are you going to invent, or patent, I suppose, in 2016?
So I really want to make an API that tells you when you're hungry, because I drink an ungodly amount of caffeine every day, so I don't always actually know when I'm truly hungry. So I would like to be able to build an app that detects when I'm hungry, then orders me food, and then just when it arrives, I'm like, oh my gosh, I am hungry. Thank you, robot-butler app.
Actually sounds really useful for coding days.
I would use those APIs.
Yeah.
So
You should
maybe
file
actually
that before we release this video.
That's a good idea.
Okay, Joanna?
I'm going to patent the notion of fingernails that grow in length over time and need to be reduced. I'm going to make money every time you guys trim your nails.
Fred.
I want to patent pockets with holes. 2 reasons. So when you go to the beach, you don't get sand caught in your pockets. And then when you put your clothes in the laundry, you don't accidentally leave stuff in there that goes through the laundry.
Pockets where nothing gets stuck in them.
Yep.
But what about the holding purpose of the pocket?
Oh no, that's irrelevant.
Oh.
Okay.
I'm going to owe you a lot of money.
Why would you owe him money?
Because I have a lot of holes in my pockets.
Okay. So please tell us about your absurd patent ideas down in the comments, or really any other ideas you have about the show or what we've talked about, and we'll be sure to respond to you. Thanks for joining us this week, and I'll see you next time. I'm Timothy Jordan, and this has been The Developer Show.